What's up, guys? Today might be a little bit of a longer video because we're going to be talking about navigating a transaction. And since we're talking about the actual transaction, we're going to be talking about some little bit more detail here, and it might be a little bit of a longer video. So I do apologize for that, but I want to try to give you guys as much value as possible. So let's get right into it. Come on. There we go. I feel like that first slide never wants to move, right? So seeing homes. Be yourself. Be in charge. And stay in control and be knowledgeable. So like when I say ask the questions, I mean, I went over this in the first module. Be the one asking the questions. Don't just talk back. Remember, we can teach dogs to talk back. We want to be asking the questions. Be in charge. Be yourself. Be relaxed. And don't try to be someone that you're not. Like, I understand fake it till you make it. That's fine. That's one thing. But don't step out of who you are as a person. Don't be like, trying to act like you're somebody that you're not. Long story short, I could go on forever. Understand your selling style as well as their buying style. So here's something that's really important. Something that I actually struggled with when I first started was I just treated all buyers the same, and that was unfair to them because not every buyer deserves the same treatment. So like for me, I'm a type A person who's a listener. So and I have a lot, like what really sucks for me is like I got to be, I love it when a buyer walks in and they're a talker. They just won't shut up. Perfect. Great. I love you because I don't have to talk and I love to listen. So you can just run your mouth and you'll feel great. So I could just be myself and I'll feel great. And then we're just going to be this happy marriage and we're going to be great clients, a great professional to client relationship. It's going to be awesome. And it is. And it always is because I hate to talk and this buyer loves to run their mouth. Perfect. On the other hand, you might have the other person who's just like me, who is kind of quiet, kind of awkward, and kind of weird. So like, and they walk in and I have to now shift myself. I have to shift my selling style because I can't be who I'm myself on I can't be my total self on this. I have to step up my talking game because if I don't talk to this person, we're going to go through this house in total silence and I'm never going to find out what motivates this buyer, what's their emotions behind their buying style or what, what I mean? So I need to learn more about this buyer and I have to be a talker. So that took a lot of practice to do. And I took a lot of practice to grow out of that and learn to stir up conversation because I never really liked to do that. So use your knowledge to point out potential problems as well as good things that stand out. So point out the things that they're not looking for. So to give you an example, what it sounds like when I walk into a showing with a buyer, especially one that I just met, I'll be saying something like, okay, so hey guys, nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you walking into the house here. Just want to let you know, I'm not going to be that creepy real estate agent that like hovers over your shoulder and like kind of get you to try to trick you into buying this house. So I'm not going to be like creepy like that. But, basically you guys have full access to the house. I'm going to, I'll walk around through the house with you. And if I see anything that I really think is really bad, I'll point it out. And if I see something that's really good, I'll point it out. That, just want to let you guys know that I'm here to be looking for the stuff that you're maybe not looking for. So that way they feel that they are free to look around the house. They don't feel like pressured that you're going to hover over them. And they know that you're looking out for them. It's like, okay, he's looking for stuff that I'm not looking for while I'm looking to make sure that this house is a good fit for me. And make sure you point out the good things too. Remember, you're selling a house. Like if it's got a pot filler, be like, hey, cool, they have a pot filler. Like make note of that and be like, oh, that's cool. Nobody has a pot filler. Like that's a rare thing. Or if they see like when the washer and dryer in the washer dryer room, under the washer and dryer, there's a drain. Be like, oh, that's a really cool feature there. That's like, that shows that this builder had, paid attention to detail a little bit more. Cool. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Shows like it kind of prepares in case you have a leak or something like that. It will drain right into this drain here, so you don't flood the third floor or whatever. And obviously if the bad things too, like hey, just so you guys know, I don't know if you saw this, but it looks like here in the top left corner of this window, looks to be some water damage, so we might want to make note of that. So if you guys do pursue this house further, we should make note of that and have it addressed. And things like that. That shows you're paying attention. And you're a professional. It shows it shows that you care and yet you're competent. So we want both of those things. And then set expectations. This is like insanely critical. Like when I say like this is top priority. So like one of the things is like when buyers buy their home. Now obviously buying a home is an emotional process. We all know that because this is our home. This is where we're gonna live. So buyers will actually go through the house and they're gonna be like, oh my God, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then their eyes are going to glass over and they're not going to see the problems. So what you need to do is once they go under contract, the first thing you need to tell them before the inspection, tell them, look, guys, I know you guys love this house. It's an amazing, and it's an amazing house. I'm glad you guys picked it. It's awesome. And I just want to let you know, no home ever gets a clean bill of health on the inspection. So I just want to let you guys know that. So like when the inspection comes back and it looks like, my high school test scores and it's just covered in red ink, don't freak out. Like, it's going to be okay. I just want to let you know that's very normal. It's very standard for that to happen. So I just want you guys to know that's coming. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on the big ticket items instead, like the small ticket items, like repairing light bulbs and changing things out. We'll take care of that stuff ourselves after settlement. But like the big ticket items, like that, maybe that water damage that I mentioned in the top corner of that window, let's focus on stuff like that. Or maybe that the fact that the basement is flooded or whatever the problem is. And then you set that expectation that, like, okay, the buyer knows we're going to focus on the big ticket items and we're not going to focus on the little stuff, and make them know and let them know, especially if they're first time home buyers, be like, look, the number one way to kill rapport with the seller is to close up the inspection report, hand it to the seller and say, hey, fix everything. Now, buyers don't know that etiquette in real estate. But if you tell them, they're like, oh, great. Okay, cool. Thanks for telling me that, because I don't want to offend the seller. I want to like the seller. I want to like the person I'm buying the home from. And they do want to like the seller, and the seller wants to like them, at least in most cases. So you don't want to, be offensive and just say, hey, fix everything. I mean, how annoying is that? I mean, I certainly, if I was selling a house, if I was selling my house, I wouldn't want a buyer to do that. So just set that expectation so they know. Just so they know. And then obviously set the expectation of, that you're looking for referrals. Obviously in a non-threatening way. You don't be like, so by the way, Stevie over here needs a referral. Like, don't be like a creepo. But you get what I'm saying. Making the offer, review compliance list of documents. So this is going to be different for everybody. So for submission, this is the stuff we need in Philadelphia anyway, and you guys can obviously apply this to your market. So we need the agreement of sale. That's obviously the offer itself. The pre-approval, the proof of funds, and clearly you got to have that stuff. If they are a cash buyer, you need the proof of funds. Pre-approval gets just you get that from the bank. Proof of funds, though, for those of you guys who don't know, a proof of funds can be anything. It could be just something as simple as a bank statement. You just say, hey, Mr. Buyer, just send me a bank statement. Like, if you're offering 150 grand cash, just send me a bank statement that has 150 grand in it, or at least, or more than 150 grand, just to show that the seller that that you can afford what you're offering. Buyer financial info sheet. It's a sheet we use here in Philadelphia that basically just explains the assets, income, debts, and liabilities of a buyer. And it's not checked by the bank or anything like that, but it's something to kind of supplement the pre-approval, or if in the event that there's multiple offers. Now, if this is a cash offer, it's proof of fund. All you need is proof of funds. Obviously, you don't need to see the person's assets, liabilities, debts, and incomes if they're paying cash. All you need to see is a bank statement that shows they got the money in it. Broker co-op letter. Everybody's got a different policy on this, so just a broker agreement. Just have that signed. Seller disclosure. Obviously, every house is supposed to have this, but there are some situations, at least in Philadelphia, like if the house is inherited. I thought sellers don't always fill them out because they're inherited, so they'll just fill out like, hey, I'm the executor. I'm not guaranteeing anything because I didn't live in this house. So things like that. There's little intricacies between each document. Your deposits. So you're gonna need the first deposit, or at least a copy of it, and then your brokerage documents. Every brokerage has different compliance documents, like RESPA agreements and title of business association agreements and things like that. So, or whatever. Whatever else is there. Anyway, tell your buyer stuff. So here's the thing: in a multiple offer situation, or even if it's not a multiple offer situation, tell your buyer's story, because facts tell, but stories sell. And one of the reasons I like to tell a lot of stories is because people can actually connect with that better. But like, when I use examples of what I do in real estate, that probably is more educational to you than it is me just talking off of a PowerPoint here. Like when I tell you stories about when I walk into a home with a buyer and I say, okay, this is what I could do. I'm not going to be a creepy real estate agent. I'm going to talk to you about, I'll point out the things that you're not looking for and this, that, and the other thing. Like when I give you guys real stories about how I actually behave in a home, like that's more useful to you than me just reading off of a PowerPoint. So tell your buyer story, include a letter and a picture of the buyer. Be like, hey, look, you guys lived here, your whole lives, you grew up here. we, the buyer, we're going to do the same thing. Here's a picture of us. This is our young family. We're going to do exactly what you guys did. We want to stay here long term, establish our roots, and this is our funny little dog, blah, 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 like all that stuff. And that's, again, people, just like anybody else, sellers are emotional too. People buy emotionally and justify logically. So a seller will buy into your buyer if you pull the right emotional strings. Like I just said. Okay. This is a really good book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It's an amazing, amazing book. It talks about things like, the 4 main characters of every story. And I'm not going to get into all that stuff because it'll take this video forever. But I highly recommend that book. Very good book. It changed the way I look at marketing forever. Reminders and inspections. Set reminders for the transaction. So, like, we've gone over that in the first module. You want to set reminders. Every deal has about 5 reminders to it, unless there's some other intricacies that make the deal a little different. But you're going to have your first deposit, your second deposit, your reply to inspection, your mortgage commitment, and then you got a reminder to schedule settlement. I usually put the reminder to the mortgage commitment reminder is usually about a week before the mortgage commitment is due, and then the schedule settlement reminder, I usually have that about a month before settlement. So but after the reply to inspection. So if that makes any sense. So if I had the reply to inspection done, as long as it's after, the reminder for scheduling settlement will be after the reply to inspection. And usually I try to keep it about 30 days out so that I have the reason I do this because I want all access to the brokerage. So if I'm representing the buyer, remember, we as the buyer, we're the buyer agent. We're the ones pretty much driving this whole transaction. We're in charge of the mortgage company. We're in charge of the buyer. We're in charge of the title company. We're in charge of insurance. Like, we're the ones running all of the show here. So we're not actually, we're not like the seller agent who kind of just sits back and lets the buyer agent run everything. We are the ones in the driver's seat here. So make sure you have these reminders set because you don't want to be dropping the ball and having transactions fall apart, or God forbid, miss a deadline, and now your buyer's deposit is at risk because you missed the deadline. So you got to have this stuff. Refer an inspector if they don't have one, inspector or inspectors, whatever you want to do. During inspection, be a student, ask questions. We've gone over that in the last one of the other modules that you want to ask questions and be a student. Remember to set expectations for this step. Like I was just saying with the inspection, guys, like, you got to set expectations. Let people know that problems are going to happen. That way they don't think they're going to get even if it's new construction especially. It's a little bit different. Obviously, new construction, most of the time it's more like something like, more like a punch list for new construction, but still let them know anyway. Set the expectation. And then read books on negotiation, as this is obviously a high negotiation step, replies in the inspection step. So you can do books like The Art of Negotiation by Michael Wheeler. I think is a really good book. It's illuminating. I think it is. It's a good book. And then your ability to negotiate is obviously your most referable quality. If you get a good deal for someone, they're going to tell everybody. If you go out there and be like, "Oh my God, Steve, he wrangled the seller for a $4,000 discount, and he saved me $4,000. I mean, he's awesome. I thought I was gonna have to pay, and he didn't, and that and the other thing. It was he really helped me out. People are gonna talk about that. When you save someone a 4-figure number, people want to know, or people want to brag about that. They want to tell people about that. They want other people to experience the same amount of joy and pleasure that they received. And then we're wrapping up here with the mortgage here. So obviously, we're not gonna buy houses without a mortgage, right? Unless you're paying cash. This isn't your job, but it's your job to know what's going on in the process. That's why you want to, you as a real estate agent, you're going to get, banged up by mortgage brokers all the time. Hey, I want to take you out to a beer. Hey, I want to take you out to this. I want to take you out to that. Hey, can we network? Can we get together and talk about this? Mortgage brokers will be, in your face constantly because they want to build a relationship with a realtor, because that's where all their business comes from the realtors. Stay in touch with the lender on a regular basis. So, with the lenders, so when you're interviewing with these lenders who are always in your face, maybe try a couple of them out, but you want to make sure that you pick the good one, the one who gets the job done. I found a lender who could get a deal done in 12 days. I was like, you're not going anywhere. You are going to be recommended to all of my clients all the time. You will always be one of the recommendations I give. And he always gets the deal because he always provides the best service. So, stay in touch with a lender on a regular basis. For me, when my buyers pick one of 2 people, I know that the lenders I'm recommending, I don't have to babysit them because I know Mike and Ryan are always going to take care of people. Like I don't have to babysit them. And that's important for you to pick lenders that are high quality so that when your buyers are working with them, you don't have to babysit. But you don't have to stay in touch as much. And it allows you to put your time more towards other things. And I touch base with an email every week for people I'm not familiar with. So sometimes you get that one buyer who thinks they know more than you and they want to go out and get some mortgage from, some weird bank in China that nobody's ever heard of and something weird lending or whatever, whatever, cloud-based lending tree or whatever, and it's some weird ass mortgage and you want to, you just got to basically, that for people like that I'm not familiar with, I'm emailing them every week. Hey, where are we? Where are we? How's things going? Are we on pace? What's the story? And you just stay on top of it. Oh yeah, and this is important too. If you're on the seller side and you're dealing with a bank on the other side that you don't have no idea who it is, definitely touch base. Like, what's going on? I don't know who that lender is. Who's this? What's going on? What's the story? Are we on pace? Are we good? Things like that. So, and this is the thing. The communication will get rid of 90% of your issues. You're never going to have, you will, but I can't say never, but you are going to be able to eliminate so many more problems as long as you are on top of your communication. If you are focusing on your communication, you will be set. You'll be golden. You'll be good. So just make sure that you stay on top of your communication. And then outside of that, I think you're all set. So I think that wraps up this video, and we'll see you guys in the next video.